heard me say it before. Stick to real foods. But exactly how do you make that a lifestyle? Well, listen in. Welcome to Holistic Health Made Simple. Are you tired of chasing fad diets and endless workouts? Frustrated and confused by the conflicting advice on health and weight loss? Well, you're not alone. I'm Jolene, a nutritional therapy practitioner, and I'm here to guide you on a different path through holistic wellness. Together, we'll blend ancestral wisdom with scientific principles, making health and weight loss a reality. Say goodbye to yo-yo dieting and hello to simple, individualized steps that will help you reach your goals. Let's explore the power of healing your gut, optimizing your metabolism, and embracing whole foods. Ready to make that personalized wellness a reality? Let's get started on your journey to real health. Hey there! Today we are going back to the basics of real food, the importance of eating real food, and how to make it a lifestyle. Far too often, many think that when we go and start eating healthy, that means we have to give up our social events, that we can't eat out, we can't go to a friend's house, we can't do any of it. That's not entirely true. You can eat real foods just about anywhere. Almost. There's probably a few exceptions, but we'll go into how you can navigate life and make your lifestyle a real food lifestyle. So you might be thinking, what exactly is a real food? Isn't all food real food? I mean, we can eat it. The government says it's safe. Well, we're talking about, when we talk about real foods, is whole foods. Things that are as less processed as possible. They're in as close to their natural form as you would find them in nature. When we stick to eating foods that are in a form that is close as you find them in nature, they come in their unique package. We've talked about juice in the past, that when we make juice out of fruit, we often strip it of its fiber. Because in nature, we find apples and blueberries, but we don't find apple juice and blueberry juice, for that matter. So we're looking for it in its whole form. So it comes in its complete package, with the fiber, with the micronutrients, and in a single form. Like, we'll often eat an apple, but when you drink the juice, you're having several apples. I don't know many people who eat several apples at a time. So we're basically looking for things that are as minimally processed as possible. So we say minimally processed because things like our proteins, like beef, chicken, pork, fish, will come butchered. That's minimally processed. Sometimes we get certain things like nuts that are also minimally processed. The hulls have been taken off. They might have been roasted. They might have been sprouted. But you want to look at what's done to the item. And you want to look at anything that comes in a package that looks like a real food. And look at the different ingredients that are in it. And keep it to 3 to 5 ingredients. Especially when we're making this a lifestyle. Now when I talk about lifestyle, we're talking about the 90-10 rule. 90% of the foods you put in your body should be real whole foods, as close to nature as possible. There will always be that 10% that may not be a whole foods. So we want to stick to the majority of it being whole foods. Things like oils, where it gets a little tricky, we want also minimally processed oils. That's why we look to olive oil, avocado oil, beef tallow, butter. Those are all things that are minimally processed. Things like olive oil and avocado oil are actually pressed out of the fruit. They are not extracted in a chemical matter from a seed. So when we're looking at those, we are looking for cold pressed oils for both avocado and olive oil to make sure they're in their purest state. Butter is basically whipped cream that's whipped to the point where the fat separates from any more of the proteins or the liquid, and you end up with butter and then some leftover whey. The butter is perfectly minimally processed. It's something you can do in your own kitchen. If you have kids, there is nothing funnier to watch than you put some heavy whipping cream, make sure it doesn't have any of the additives in it from the stores, that it's just cream and salt. You throw it in there, maybe with a little bit more salt, in a mason jar, and hand it to the kids with a lid and just have them shake it and shake it and shake it. It's going to take a long time, but if they keep shaking long enough, it will turn to butter. And then you rinse it off and you're left with butter and then, like I said, the whey which you can either discard or you can use to ferment. There's a lot of things to do with it, but learning these little things of what is the end products from some of these minimally processed gives you a new idea of what's minimally processed and what's not. Butter's minimally processed. Olive oil's minimally processed. So is avocado oil. So you might still be wondering what's wrong with some of the packaged foods in your cupboards. First off, I want you to go through your favorite ones. Look at the ingredients. I could care less about the nutritional information. We want to look at the ingredients. We want to see what they're adding to the item. Are they enriching it? Are they adding vitamins and minerals? That means that stuff was either extracted out from the actual ingredient or was never there in the first place. When it was never there in the first place, it means it didn't have the rest of the stuff to balance it out. Our body needs balanced vitamins and minerals. Nothing can surpass what nature gives us because it gives us in the complete package. People who are the most successful on reaching their health and weight loss goals will switch to real whole foods. I don't care if they are following paleo, keto, vegan, vegetarianism, the Mediterranean diet. When you make that switch to real whole foods, your chances of having long-term success skyrocket because you can always find this food somewhere when you're out and about. It's not hard to stick to it. The other thing when you switch over to real whole foods, if you are at a plateau, if you are stuck, it's really easy to make adjustments in the whole foods you're eating to figure out what you need to support what your body's doing. For instance, if you think veganism is the end-all be-all, but you're doing it for dietary and health reasons only, and your body's not reacting, it may be time to add in some animal meats. If you are carnivore and you have plateaued or you're having issues with energy or hormones, it might be time to add in a few vegetables. But you see, everything I'm asking you to add or take away or do whatever is a whole food. We should be able to get everything we need out of our whole foods and balance out what our actual body needs. We've got to stop doubling down on this diet dogma or these powders and shakes and start listening and hearing what our body needs to be healthy. And that's going to be different for everyone. And as you heal, it's going to be different for you. Or if something new comes up, it's going to be different for you. So if you want to skip all the different diet dogmas and just start eating real whole foods, don't worry about macros at first. Just make the switch to real whole foods. You have plenty of episodes where I've talked to you about the importance of prioritizing protein. Go back, learn that, figure that out for you. But the easiest way is to shop the perimeter of the store. I actually made an episode a couple weeks ago about eating healthy on a budget. It all starts with shopping the perimeter of the store. That's where you're going to find the real whole foods. You rarely find them down the middle. You're probably going to have to learn how to cook, even just the basics, like how to grill a steak, grill chicken, sear it, cook it in a pan, however, cook some fish, broil it. Just learn the basics of how to cook your meat and cook your vegetables and add some healthy fats. It's very simple. Now, let's talk about the social aspect of eating real foods, because so many people think when they make the switch to eating healthy, they have to give up going out socially. You do not have to do that. It is really simple to order from a restaurant these days, real whole foods. Any basic restaurant will have protein, veggies, a salad. If you eat potatoes because you're not low carb, a baked potato, that's all real whole foods. Get a broiled chicken, fish, steak, whatever it is. Get that, add the vegetables, and add the baked potato. It's pretty simple to eat real whole foods. That's what it is. I don't know how many of you grew up with your meals basically being a vegetable, a protein, and a starch. That's what we ate. Now, for some of you, you want to give up the processed starches for a whole food starch, which leaves you pretty much with potatoes and rice. Figure out what your body tolerates. When I say tolerate, I am asking you now to dive deep and be honest with yourself. What is your current health status? What is your current health goals? There are some real whole foods that will help you reach those goals, and there are some that will not, depending on what's going on with your health. Fruit did not make you sick and fat, but if you are a diabetic, having a lot of fruit is not going to be beneficial to reaching your health goals. It's just that simple. It didn't get you there, but it may prevent you from getting to where you want to be, and it's down the road something you can add in later on once your body now can tolerate it again. Those are the things I'm saying. When we go to a friend's house or a social event at a home, you don't want to bring a lot of attention to yourself. I know I don't. Everyone says, well, just stand up for yourself. It's hard when you're the odd man out. So just scan the options and pick the best ones. Pick the meat. Pick the vegetables. Do what you can. Most people always have some kind of vegetable tray or salad tray. Start with that. Get full. Eat your protein. If they don't serve a protein, make that your 10% off track. It's that simple. Don't go crazy. But 90% of the foods you put in your body should be real whole foods if you want to reach any health and weight loss goals. So when we look at people who have had long-term success maintaining their health, maintaining their weight, there is something that they all have in common. They eat mostly real whole foods, and 2, they learn to adapt and not get sucked into that diet dogma. There's 3 things I want you to take away today. First is that people who have long-term success in reaching their health and weight goals have made the switch to primarily whole foods. 2, they learned to adapt. They did not double down on their diet dogma when it wasn't working for them, but they still stuck to those real whole foods. And number 3, eating real whole foods is not nearly as hard as everyone tries to make it out to be. It's also not as expensive. When you eat real whole foods, you become satisfied sooner, so you're not constantly eating and eating more. I know processed foods on the outside looks like they're less expensive, but when you're eating a satisfying meal, you eat less in the long run, and it saves you money, and it's also going to save you a ton of health expenses down the road. So dig in to the power of real whole foods and see your health and weight loss journey transform. On that note, friends, I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening in today. I hope you got some nuggets to take on your health journey. Remember, this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes. No medical advice is being given. By listening to this podcast, you agree to the full disclaimer, which is linked in the show notes. If you found this podcast helpful, could you take 30 seconds and leave a review? Your feedback means the world to me, and it helps others discover my show. Once again, thank you for being part of my community. Until next time, have a blessed day.